A really cool feature currently rolling out for Windows 11 actually allows Windows to fix itself. This is not an April Fool's joke. You need to see this. Stay tuned. So in my overview a while back of Windows 11 25H2, I glossed over a feature that can seriously be a game changer for Windows users. That feature is Quick Machine Recovery, or QMR for short. This is a feature that will replace Startup Repair on Windows 11 systems. I kind of guess I glossed over it because I didn't realize how cool this feature really is, or at least how cool it could be. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I got to pay some bills. So check out today's sponsor.
This week's sponsor is me. If you'd like to support this channel, the best way is to pick up a t-shirt at cybercputech.com. All my t-shirts are extremely high quality and durable. These are the same shirts I wear in videos. So if you like the shirt I'm wearing, then head over to cybercputech.com and pick yourself up one today.
So for years, we've had Startup Repair, and for years, we've complained that Startup Repair never does anything. I don't know about you, but I have never once had Startup Repair actually fix a system. In fact, I think it's a placebo. I don't think it does anything in the first place. You can let me know down in the comments below if you've ever had it work for you, but I never have. But now coming in 25H2, as well as being rolled out for 24H2, is a feature that Startup Repair should have been from the very beginning. And that feature is Quick Machine Recovery. In fact, we should just call Quick Machine Recovery Startup Repair and pretend like Startup Repair never really existed. Kind of treat Startup Repair like Windows 8, like it's nothing but a bad dream. I hope someday Startup Repair will be an example of the Mandela effect. Everyone swears it used to exist, but just like Sinbad in Shazam, it will just be a figment of our imagination. But with that said, I swear I remember that movie. Let me know down in the comments below if you do too. I think someone's messing with us. Either way though, Quick Machine Recovery is a direct result of the CloudStrike catastrophe that took place in July of 2024, when a flawed software update from the cybersecurity firm CloudStrike took out 8.5 million Windows systems globally. This issue affected systems in the airline, finance, healthcare, and several other industries, leading to many system admins ripping their hair out and probably a few people losing their jobs. The software update replaced a driver that caused a BSOD on restart. The fix was relatively easy to implement, but it had to be implemented across 8.5 million computers, all while millions of people were very angry. And as a result, we have Quick Machine Recovery, a feature we probably should have had years ago, but I'm glad we have it now. Essentially, the way this feature works is in the event of a Windows system being unable to boot, the automatic repair function of Windows Recovery will analyze system logs, recent updates, and crash logs and try to match the problem with a known issue that Quick Machine Recovery can be used to access a remediation patch for that specific problem. In fact, it kind of works similar to an antivirus. It tries to match failure to boot issues with previously identified fixes for those issues. The way it's able to do this is through leveraging Windows Recovery and the cloud. It sends diagnostic data from Windows to Microsoft where it can be analyzed, and if it matches an issue you're having with a previously known problem, then it can send a patch right then to fix the system within recovery. Then Windows will just boot normally. This feature will officially be released with 25H2, but Microsoft is rolling it out right now on 24H2 systems. In order to get the feature in 24H2, you will need the KB506 2660 update installed. However, even with that update installed, Microsoft is pushing out the feature slowly. So because you have that update doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll have Quick Machine Recovery. At least it won't work for that matter. For this video, I had to install the development preview of 25H2 just to play with it. But since I have it installed, let's jump on the system and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here we are in Windows 11. This is actually a virtual machine. I'm doing it from a virtual machine because we're gonna have to restart the system several times, and it'll be easier for me to screen capture it while it's in a virtual machine. But either way, I have it full screen so it looks like we're in a regular version of Windows. So to enable this, it's fairly easy. Now, keep in mind that on this specific feature, it comes enabled by default on Windows 11 Home Edition, but on Pro and Enterprise, you'll have to enable it manually. And I'm not sure why, but it doesn't come enabled automatically on Pro and Enterprise. So what you do is click on Start, go into Settings, and then from Settings, you want to go into System, and then scroll down into Recovery. Now, if you have Quick Machine Recovery installed, you'll see it right down here in the settings. And all you got to do is click on it, flip this switch right here to enable Quick Machine Recovery. And then you can also enable this right here, which essentially the second option is if it doesn't find a solution initially, it will actually wait for a specific period of time, in this case, 180 minutes, and then it'll go ahead and recheck again. And this is for like really developing situations. Like if there's a problem that happens, you can essentially just leave the computer in recovery and it'll continue to retest over and over again until Microsoft comes up with a resolution to the problem. So this might be helpful. However, the primary one is this first check mark right here. If the initial Quick Machine Recovery doesn't work, it'd be nice to have the second one enabled too. But here's the thing, just because you can turn the feature on doesn't mean the feature is available to you, if that makes any sense. This is what happened to me in 24H2 and what eventually led me to upgrade my system to 25H2 for the purpose of making this video. Microsoft says that once the feature is fully rolled out, it will be enabled by default on Windows 11 home systems, but it will be disabled by default on Windows 11 Pro and Enterprise editions. So if you're on Windows 11 Home, it will just be turned on by default. But if you're on Pro, you'll have to go through the process that I just showed you in order to turn it on. Once it's turned on, you'll have to test to make sure that it's truly enabled. Let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to test it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and click Start, type in CMD. We're going to run it as administrator, hit yes to the user account control. And then from here, you want to type in reagent, C, space, / set recovery test mode. And then go ahead and hit enter. And it should say operation successful. Now from this point, you want to do it again. You want to hit reagent, C, space, / boot RE. And this is essentially, you want it to boot into recovery and then go ahead and hit enter. And for whatever reason, that did not work. What did I do wrong? Here's what I did. Don't boot RE. Okay, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Go boot to RE. And then operation is successful. And then the next command is simply shut down /R /T 0. And this will do is it will immediately restart the system. And then this should restart it into Quick Machine Recovery. And it should take a second before we actually get to the point to where it actually starts, but you'll see here in a minute. Okay, so here's our post screen right here. It says, please wait. However, right here, you can see test mode diagnosing the PC. So this is the first stage, is trying to diagnose and find any problems with the PC. And then it'll connect to the internet to see if it can, see right here, connecting to network. So it'll connect to the network and see if it can match whatever problem it found with a possible solution. And here it is, looking for solutions. So it's going to look for solutions for a little bit. And then after it finds a solution, it'll apply the solution and restart the system. And here we go. It's booting back into Windows. And it should take a second to boot back into Windows. Now, if you actually had a boot failure here, this is essentially how it would work, is it would go through, do whatever it needs to do, fix the computer, and then just boot Windows like normal. And then once you boot into Windows, essentially what you can do is click on Start, go into Settings, and then from Settings, you go into Windows Update. And then from there, you want to go into Update History. And then right here where it says Other Updates, you should have something that says a QMR remediation was installed or a remediation patch or something like that. Now, since we just tested it and nothing was actually installed, of course, we don't have anything on here. But if it did actually fix Windows, then you would have something inside of your updates right here. Now, this is the part where the downsides kind of come in. You remember a little while ago in the video when I compared this feature to the way an antivirus functions? Well, an antivirus is only as good as its definitions. You can have the best antivirus in the world, but if you have no definitions for it, then it's really not going to do anything. And that's the problem I ran into with this feature. In fact, I spent 3 or 4 hours breaking this virtual machine right here in every way imaginable. I corrupted system drivers, I corrupted storage drivers, and video drivers, and every other driver you can think of. I invalidated the BCD file and even corrupted the Windows registry. Unfortunately though, in not a single case was I able to repair the system with Quick Machine Recovery. Now, for the reason for this is the fact that this feature is still kind of in the testing phase, and there's likely not many definitions set up for it yet. As problems with Windows arise and definitions are added to the remediation database, it will fix a lot more problems. But unfortunately, right now, it's pretty much useless. Well, unless, of course, you have a system that has CloudStrike installed on it. However, I did discover something kind of interesting in my testing. It's much more difficult to break Windows 11 25H2. If you try to run a command or modify a system file that would leave the system unbootable, Windows simply won't let you do it like it used to. I mean, here's the thing. In the past, I've been able to break Windows 11 systems fairly easily for demonstration purposes, of course. I mean, I did them on video with you guys. But when I was making this video with the 25H2 update installed, it was much more difficult. And many times I had to break the system within Windows Recovery because while booted live, Windows simply wouldn't let me do it. Well, that kind of made my job a little bit harder, having to constantly boot into recovery to try another method to break the system. It's probably a good thing for most people because it makes Windows 11 harder to break. The other downside to Quick Machine Recovery is that it needs access to the internet in order to work. So if you're on a system that's on Wi-Fi, it would probably be a good idea to plug an Ethernet cable into it for this feature to work. But if your system doesn't have an Ethernet cable and Wi-Fi is your only option, then you're gonna have to make it work. So let's jump back on the system and I'll show you how to set up QMR to use your Wi-Fi adapter. Okay, so here we are back in Windows 11. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now this isn't too terribly hard to configure, but it requires you to run a few commands in order to get it done. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Start. We're going to type in CMD. We're going to go ahead and run the command prompt as the administrator again. Say yes to the user account control. We want to run the command reagent C space / get recovery settings. And then when we hit enter, it's going to give us the XML file that currently contains our settings for Quick Machine Recovery. Now, essentially, the way this is set up is you got cloud remediation state, and that's state to 1. That means it's turned on. And then the auto remediation is set to 1 with the total wait time as 180 and the wait interval is 30. Now, these are the settings that we set up earlier. So if you go into settings here and you go into system, you scroll down again into recovery and you go back into Quick Machine Recovery, you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, these settings right here are the same as these settings right here. So this is essentially just the manual way to do this. That's all it is. However, we want the Wi-Fi credentials filled in. So what we're gonna do is you essentially take this, highlight this right here. You only wanna highlight from where it says XML version 1 all the way down to the closing switch, which is Windows RE. And you hit Control C in order to copy. Now you won't be able to highlight it with your right click button because that's the command prompt and it doesn't work that way. Now, at this point, once you copy that, you're gonna click on Start and you're just gonna open Notepad like normally. And then from here, you're going to paste in what you just copied, and that's gonna be this right here with your paste command. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and hit Enter, and we're gonna enter something into right here that has our Wi-Fi credentials in it. Now me, of course, I cheated and I have it inside my clipboard. So all I got to do is paste it right here. But all you got to type in is you got to type in your bracket, your Pac-Man bracket right here. And let me know down in the comments what the actual name of this key is right here. That might be helpful. And then you want to type in Wi-Fi space SSID equals, and you want to use parentheses and then enter in your Wi-Fi SSID. This is going to be the name of your Wi-Fi network that is broadcasted that you would use to connect to your Wi-Fi network. And then you type in password equals with parentheses again, and then you want to type in your actual password. And this is going to be, well, your Wi-Fi password. Pretty self-explanatory. And then from there, you want to make sure to do the close switch and the opposite end of the little alligator bracket right there. And at that point, you want to go ahead and hit File, and you want to save it as. And make sure to type Save As because you want to have the Save As dialog box. And then from here, go ahead and save it. I'm going to jump down to this PC and into my C drive. I'm going to create a new folder that simply says Recovery Wi-Fi, and then hit Enter. And then open that up. And then at this point, you want to change text document to all files, and then name this whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Wi-Fi.xml, and then hit Save. And then at this point, you can go ahead and close your note. And from here, it's pretty easy now. All we're going to do is we're going to type in reagent again. C. Oh, spell it right, of course. Space. And we're going to put the /. We're going to set recovery settings. Space. And we're going to do the / again. Type in path. Space. And then we're going to do the parentheses. C prompt root recovery Wi-Fi / and then the name of your XML, which in this case is going to be Wi-Fi.xml. And then go ahead and hit Enter, and it should say operation successful. Now, if you want to double check it, you can always run the original command again, which is reagent C, get recovery settings. And from this point, you can see that your Wi-Fi SSID and password is saved in there. Now, you can see it is blank though. So at least Windows thought ahead about security in making sure that that isn't just exposed for the world to see. So it is at least secures your Wi-Fi password to a certain extent. Of course, you have to delete your original XML file. Otherwise, your password is going to be plain text within it. So I know I spend a lot of time criticizing Microsoft on this channel. Maybe it's just rage bait. It is a fact that negative videos do a lot better than positive ones. In fact, I have a pair of videos that I did a while back. In fact, several years ago. The first video is titled, What Sucks in Windows 11? And the second video is titled, What is Great in Windows 11? The negative video is currently sitting at 855,000 views, while the positive video is currently sitting at 171,000 views. So it's pretty obvious that negativity sells. But here's the thing, not everything about Windows is negative. Windows 11 has in fact created a lot of innovation, but all we ever talk about is the bad stuff in Windows 11. But this feature right here is not negative. We are almost to the point of self-healing computers. That's where this technology is going to lead us. I mean, it might put me out of business as a computer tech, but it's still really cool. So in situations like this, we really have to praise Microsoft for a really good idea. I mean, I really hope this feature becomes as cool as it can be, because the potential behind this feature is truly a game changer. But with that said, if you'd like to know more about some of the new features coming to 25H2, then check out this video right here where I cover some of the more notable new features coming to Windows 11. But as always, you guys have a great day.